Friday, April 7th, and it's baseball season around here. Got my Giants shirt, all is well. It's also, so opening of baseball, Giants are already 1-2. Wait, 3? It's been a rough week for them. But, and of course it's the end of, we're heading into playoff season for basketball. It's pretty exciting around here too. So a lot going on in Northern California. Still some more storms, kind of cool. Although gave me an excuse to wash shirts. You know, I have all these nice shirts. This one's freshly cleaned because they got left out in the rain last night. The rack with like 25 of them on it. So gave me an excuse to get them all freshened up. Anyway, what is going on? I have a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. Notice I was using a thumb pick there. So a little of what I want to get into today is thumb picking. People have asked me about that. I hope to get more of that towards the end of the lesson, or the end of, this is not a lesson, the end of the update. Let's see, I'm going to talk about Neil Young a little bit. A question that Vanessa brought up, what's the favorite video you've uploaded? I'm going to talk about something different. I don't have a favorite, but I have problems, just like all of you, sometimes playing things perfectly when I'm trying to do it on the video, even if it's something really simple. Partly because I'm going to so much trouble to try to make sure every note is crystal clear. So I could be doing something like this. And hoping for the best. Talk about measure 13 since Dermot brought it up. And see right there, I botched a note. This is a steady flow of eighth notes. Why do those two notes sound faster? Well, because so far up until now, every eighth note is followed by another one on a different string. But now we hear this little melody. Here we hear another one. So because we had those consecutive lines or notes playing a little melody, going straight down a scale, it made it seem like they were faster, but they weren't. It was just relative to the way everything else was moving in there. So hopefully that's clears up one issue there. We had a couple of new songs this week. I have to, let me see, I don't even want to go here, but have been under the weather in a couple of too many ways. This knee surgery thing cannot come soon enough right now. Frankly, it's getting tough to get out here into the studio. So, anyway, moving around has become quite a challenge, and I'm sure it'll be really bad in 3 weeks when I actually have the surgery, but at least it will be improving instead of deproving, which seems to be what's going on now. Declining, maybe, is degenerating. Okay, but let's see. I want to talk about picks a little bit now, too. Oh, wait, let's see. First I'll give the rundown of the songs, because the things I had planned to do, I just couldn't get down in front of the camera. Sorry about that. But we did have, I want to thank Max for Superstition, and how we rank songs, the levels. You know, when Max puts something up, he says it's either kind of beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Now, I didn't get a chance to look at the Superstition lesson before we put it up. And so when he labels something beginner, I'm kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe that's a 3. It probably should have been a 5, could have been a 6, depending on what you're trying to do with it. So, as you know, the level rankings, or the relative rankings of difficulties for songs or for lessons can be, aside from misleading, discouraging sometimes too. It's like, oh, I don't want to try to tackle that. It's a 6 or it's an 8 or something like that. I am working on one. Well, never mind. I got a couple of 9s under construction too, and that's part of the problem. It makes it impossible to get a good take of it that is a perfect performance. Bluesland, Faros Rag. These are 2 that are killing me. Faros Rag is, of course, this one. See, I never remember this part. Back to the beginning. Well, it's coming along. It's getting really close. So someday soon there may be a lesson on that. It's just that it's going to take me forever to get to it, I think. But what else was I going to talk about this week? Oh, the other song, Vanessa, digging deep into the U2 catalog with another twofer with In God's Country. And so appreciate her loading up the library with stuff. And let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Picks, thumb picks, Neil Young. Neil Young, that video. I'm glad we got that up on the forum. I had run into that a while ago, a few months ago, and then it was a little hard to find for a while. But I know when I first picked up, I should have brought this out, except it's buried in the dungeon. His bootleg, I'm Happy That Y'all Came Down. Fabulous. Well, it was a really cool collector's item to have because hardly anybody had it. This double record, it was $6 that you could buy in 1971. Available here at Underground Records in San Jose, where they did carry these hard to find imports. But we did hear rumors at the time that Neil had gone into stores and taken his records out, and here it is, a video of it. They were shooting, I think, his film Journey Through the Past at the time when that happened down in LA. So hope you guys check that out. It's kind of a cool video. Let's see, picks. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, I've got some of these picks that Lisa dropped on me that have, kind of, it almost feels like sandpaper on the edge, and all kinds of the comments about drilling holes in them, having other kinds of grips on them. All of those are pretty good. Except I think it's really good to have good technique and learn how to hold a pick, a really slippery pick. Put some olive oil on it or something if you want to really test it. And the key is, I've of course got lessons on holding the pick, but the key is a lot of flesh on it. So like I've got the whole inside of my joint of my index finger on it, and then my thumb straight across it. So that's a lot of mass on there. And then of course you want to hold it so loosely that it almost falls out of your hand. So the other kind of dilemma. But so just keep working on. Oh, and like I mentioned to people, walk around, carry one around with you all the time. It should be as comfortable in your hand as a pen is, or a pen. I mean, you can even. This is a good way to practice the guitar. Put a pencil in your hand like you're about to play, and then like you're about to write something. You can be a good obstacle. What am I thinking? Anyway, never mind. But carrying one around with you can be a really useful thing, and just having it in your hand for hours and hours and hours. Thumb pick. Why would I use a thumb pick? As you know, if you've seen a lot of my videos, you probably that I don't use them very often, but I do. I did use it earlier today. Oh, the song I played, by the way, at the beginning of the news here was "Some Summer Day" by John Fahey, and I like the thumb pick on it because with my thumbnail, I can't really get a good muting sound. The angle of the thumb pick is different, so if I want to mute the bass with the palm of my hand, then I can get that sound. Without the pick, that would sound like this. not thumpy enough. So I use it in songs that I'm going to, where I want to mute the bass. Now there aren't many. I can think of 3 other songs that I would typically get this for. I might use it in Anji. I would use it in so that I could really hit the strings hard. Anyway, so I use it in the clap usually if I'm going to play it. And the other time I use it, oh, I smell, man. I haven't done this for a while. Let's try it again. Much better. Anyway, for in pipeline, I use it to have the bass really get loud. So, but I don't generally recommend using thumb picks or finger picks because just the tone of them is different than flesh, whether you use nails or not, just fingertips. It sounds fine. I mean, anyway. Okay, let's see. I had one more thing I got to tell you about, and that is, this is sort of a camp-related thing, but I got a CD in the mail earlier this week. One of our campers, John Jameson, sent me this. Let me get the glare off it a little bit. There we go. His first CD, Home. And I got to tell you, I was knocked out. The songs are great, unusual chord progressions, great lyrics, and all this stuff he told me came after he came to our camp in 2014, I believe, the second camp, when we started having like songwriting classes and stuff like that. So I really encourage you to pick up John's album. You can get it at iTunes, John Jameson. You can get it at iTunes. You can get it through CD Baby. And we may have a way if you'd be able to get it directly from John and get an autographed copy. I'm working on that right now. So maybe by the time you see this, there'll be news on that in the little blurb that goes along with it. So anyway, John, proud of you, man, and this is very cool. So I put a post up earlier today that had links to him playing a couple of these from our last year's camp. And I think that was about all I wanted to talk about. Well, the whole thing with getting notes perfectly in playthroughs. So the same thing happens to me. If I'm really focused on perfection, I'll blow it quickly. And if I'm going to play many songs, like right there when I ran through Faros Rag, 5 or 6 things didn't quite go exactly the way I would consider concert or recording studio perfect. But that's the kind of thing that you can always fix in a recording studio if you want to punch in single notes or other things like that. I'm not a big fan of that. But the guitar's a noisy instrument. It makes a lot of, you hear other stuff. You hear buzzes and stuff that you don't hear on the piano or the flute. Well, you hear weird sounds on the flute too. But, so, that leads me to, where did I put the thumb pick now? It's apparently disappeared. Oh. I'll try one more thumb picky thing. Like a lot of times I might improvise. So for stuff like that, using the thumb pick to mute some bass notes can be really neat. Okay, I think I kind of got into most of what I wanted to talk about today. Hope you enjoy John's album and everything else. Oh no, one last quick thing. I do want to, as you know, we've moved the camp location, and a lot of people, I think 4 already, have committed to bringing wives and or spouses and things like that. And this is just a perfect place for that. So if you've been on the fence about camp and you're thinking, well, maybe I could turn it into a family vacation, absolutely. You can. This place is so cool. So, okay, that is it. Hopefully, I'll get some of these lessons done next week that I've been tripping over, and get you something else to work on. But in the meantime, keep playing, and I hope, and walk around with a pick in your hand.